Hello.
Hello.
Well, what if you both do a Beyond Extra in a British accent at the same time?
Or we both sing it. Beyond Extra.
That's actually, wait, I kind of don't hate that.
Welcome back.
Hi, everyone. We're happy to have you back with us.
We're happy to have you here.
Episode 4. Can you believe it? Honestly, episode 4.
If you're still here.
No, you're still here. We're going to manifest all the...
No, I know.
People.
But honestly, the real ones, the real ones stay.
The real ones stick around.
Yeah.
The real ones stick around. We love them for it.
They do.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. Tell everyone. Spread the word. We love to sing here.
I know. We've been singing the whole night. You guys just missed it.
Oh, yes. We had
Big
dinner together.
Eye of the Tiger rendition.
Oh, well, that too.
So.
Okay. I said
Yeah.
dinner. You went with Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
I had never heard all the lyrics to that before. I didn't really know that there were
No.
lyrics.
I didn't know it either.
Oh my gosh, there are lyrics.
I just thought it was all the time. Like, I thought it was just that over and over again. That's the only word.
Bum.
Yeah.
And I the Tiger.
With my little clarinet and band.
Did you play? I feel like every high school band plays this. But
Yeah.
also,
Oh, yeah, we played this.
My son's high school, the tiger is the mascot.
No,
Oh,
see,
yes.
that's good.
So they played it a lot.
Oh, I love that.
A lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, I got recaps. I got peeves. I got loves. Do you want me to?
You start.
I'll start
You
us
got
off.
it.
I'll kick us
You
off.
got it.
So recap since last time we recorded, and I don't know if anyone cares about this, but I need to shout out the little town of Lidditz, Pennsylvania. I went with a friend this past weekend, and this is a recap because I decided it's a recap about my life. Since
Here's the
last time
thing.
we
I think it
recorded.
can be a recap about our life or a recap from the past episode. How about
Great,
that?
great,
Either
great.
one.
Because this is a recap of my life.
Love it.
I went to Lidditz with a friend, and I went to Wilbur Chocolates for the first time. Anyone? Been there?
Yeah. Tell me where it is.
It's like right downtown. Like
It's
right
the only
across,
chocolate place?
Yes, it's
Yes.
right across from the Wilbur Hotel.
Yes.
First
Yes.
off, she told me that she and her husband their first night of their marriage was in the Wilbur Hotel, and it smelled like chocolate. And I said,
Oh.
I said,
No.
is that where?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Add that to the list. The ever-growing bucket list. But I went to Wilbur Chocolate, and it lit like you walked inside, and it smelled just like chocolate. And I said,
Yeah.
this is where I belong. And I don't want to call out any larger chocolate companies in the area.
It may or may not start with...
In case they want to sponsor us someday.
Oh, sure. Yes, true.
But
true.
Wilbur Chocolate has these little, similar in shape and size chocolate pieces, and they were so good. So good. So if you're ever in Lidditz, go to Wilbur. I love how I'm saying that. People
Yes.
could listen to this
Just go to
anywhere,
Lidditz.
but go to Lidditz. Or Littitz, depending on how you want to say it,
Littitz.
which is my favorite way to say it. I love saying it like that. And then my peeve of the week is this. We went to this great restaurant, which I love, right down from Wilbur Chocolate. And they have great food. But we both got a sausage gravy biscuit situation with eggs.
With eggs.
Yeah, so it came with 2 eggs on the side anyway, and then it had 2 little biscuits and sausage gravy drizzled over top. And when I say drizzled, I mean a wisp.
Like a feathing.
I mean,
of gravy.
I literally said, "Your girl." What kind of calorie am I counting for this? Because
0.
I kid you not, it was a fourth of a cup of sausage gravy at most, drizzled across 2 biscuits. That gravy fit. I could have cupped it in one hand. it was crazy. So she was like,
Cupping.
she was like, Meredith, I have to ask for more. She's like, I have to.
Yes.
She's also pregnant, so she's
fair.
pregnant. She got those cravings.
Give her the gravy she wants.
Yeah, give her the gravy she wants. So she asked nicely, can I have a side of
no.
additional?
They said no.
Charged her they charged her for a whole nother meal.
No.
Yes.
A whole other meal?
And only gave her the gravy.
And only gave her the sausage gravy.
No.
Charged her for the whole. So when
Do not go to this
yeah,
restaurant.
so when the
in
bill
Littitz.
came out, she and I looked at each other, and I was like, all right, dog, like, what are we going to do? And she's like, I have to bring it up. Like,
Yes.
this is, and the waitress was so rude.
No, what did she say?
She literally was like, so my friend was like, hey, just so you know, is there like a different amount that I should have been charged for just a side? And she's like, no, like, they don't do that here. Like, they can't. And my friend was like, they can't charge me a different amount. And she's like, no, it's what they did.
Okay,
and my
but-
friend was like, oh, okay. Well, I wish I had known that because I wouldn't have ordered it.
That's my point. The waitress should have told her, said, yes, I can give you, but give you the gravy, but unfortunately, this restaurant makes you charge you for the whole meal, which, may I point out, is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous.
insane.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. And then she was like, well, do you want the eggs? Like, because you ordered.
Yes, I would
like,
take the eggs and the biscuit.
I literally answered before she could. I was like, she wants both.
Yes.
Like, I literally was like, she wants
Yes.
both. Because I was like, okay, first of all, and also, she's pregnant. Can we not be nice? Like, pregnant women are going through a lot. There's a lot of hormones raging around in there. I've not experienced it, but I just know.
Yes.
Right? Been around enough that, like, there's a lot going on. So I was like, you're going to literally double her bill and didn't even, like, bring, and then she was so rude. And I was like, their food is so good, though.
Oh, no.
That I said, oh, no. But then I was like, wait, I could have made this. Like, I think I could have made this. So,
yes.
that's my peeve of the week.
Yes.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was like, that's rude. First off, rude people in general. Peeve.
Rude people.
But peeve
For
to,
no
like,
need.
you just doubled that. You doubled my bill for...
With no acknowledgement of it, because I've been in, you know how I order not
Yes.
off the menu. Like I order like,
Yes, we do.
I pick and choose what I want.
We know.
Like
We know. Oh, we know. Oh, we know.
But they always tell me like that would be $2 for that avocado. Sure.
Yeah.
I want the $2 avocado.
opt
like,
in.
Yes.
No,
or
she
like,
just brought the bill out, sat it down, and walked away.
$700.
Didn't even mention, like, hey, I'm so sorry, you're going to notice the charge. I didn't realize this. And, like, nothing like that. Just literally brought us our checks.
She needs some self-awareness
And
classes.
peaced out. Yeah, she
girl.
was not a pleasant
I've
person.
never heard of a place that charged an entire entree for just an element of like a side
And
of
she
food.
did, like, when she came back, she went to, like, I guess she was going to, like, go to handle it. The waitress came back, she was like, I charged it to myself. Like, I took it off your bill. I charged it to myself. And I was like, what do you mean you charged it to yourself?
So she's stiffing the bill? Is that what she's saying?
Well, or like she's, quote, paying for it is how she kind of worded it. But then it's like, so what are you telling me, like, she's the
one paying for it?
She's paying for it? Okay, well now I feel like I have to tip you more. Because you're paying. Anyway, it was this whole thing. So big old peeve to that. And I'm not a cheap, like, I like to tip.
You tip well.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like I won't balk at like, oh, this is a cost, but I will balk at like, that's not right.
And rude.
Yeah.
And then come back and be like, I charge it to myself. That's different than saying I took it off your bill.
Yeah, we took it off your bill. I talked to them. That is, I can't believe like that's how it's set up in our system. And we all agreed, like, we got to take that off your bill.
It's almost like she's guilt tripping you.
Yes.
For, saying
for a tip, also, and for a bigger tip. Though.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and she was just rude. Like, it shouldn't be something that was brought up. And it's like, no, that's wild. But anyway, besides the point, my love, which turned the corner because, yay us. I love to go from a peeve to a love. My love is tulips.
I do love tulips.
And they are out and about right now. And I am living for them. I want to pick them. I want to stare at them. I want to sniff them. I want to be gifted them.
You want to put them in a vase in your house? I want to put them in
a vase in my house, which there are tulips in my house right now, actually.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, I'm so on board. I'm so on board with spring flowers in general, as we know. But that's my love. They come in all shapes and colors, and it's so beautiful.
I love that.
Not really a lot of different shapes, actually.
No shapes.
They're all one shape, but I like their shape. They're a little wide, and I like.
Well, sometimes they're open more than others, so that could be a different shape, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true. We could go into that.
Are tulips the one that you bury in the winter or something?
They're bulbs.
Yeah, they're bulbs.
The bulbs
they come back up.
Yeah, that's so
Well, they'll come back up every year.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have to freeze.
They have
right?
to freeze.
That I don't know.
I think someone Google that later. But like, I'm pretty sure a tulip has to a perennial. That's an annual. No, a perennial.
No, a perennial is
every
year.
Yes.
Well, then what does an annual do?
Just one time.
But
because
tulips are multiple times a year?
No, every year. Like you can plant certain flowers and they'll come back up every year.
Right, but Isn't that what?
It's a perennial is.
It is a perennial. I do know that.
It is. I know it is too. Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be an annual if it's only once a year?
I don't know.
Because annual is just one time.
You can
Just
plant
one
them
time ever?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
ever.
plant them and they only come up once.
And not even come up like, well, some of them you just plant them and they stay.
Yeah, that's I guess that would be
right.
annual.
Or but you can plant
like
some
a pansy. You have to plant like once a year. It doesn't keep coming.
And then you got to buy more the next year.
Yeah, but I love those too. A Gerber daisy. Anyway,
that's a whole separate.
I'm off the rails, but
it's okay.
Big tulip energy, and it's a very short period of time.
It's so short.
So I'm like, give me all the tulips.
So short.
Yeah. So if anyone out there is listening to this and they really want to give me tulips, that'd be great. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But awesome.
Yeah, so...
What about you?
My cap was actually more towards the last pod related. Was that I know we spent a lot of time about the AI and like the in love and the relationship piece of that. But one cool thing that I guess I knew but I didn't share was that you can use AI to like help you read complicated documents. So like you can somehow scan in, I don't know I don't know the steps of how to do this, but you can scan in like medical documents and say, please summarize this for me.
You can
read this.
Scan in your
somehow you can
medical documents.
Yes,
to
into the internet.
Oh,
Sure, you
no.
can. Yes.
Oh
no.
Okay, I was kind of in, and then I was like, don't do it, everyone. The internet now has your private
take
medical
off your
information.
like social security number, but like you could just do the findings or a legal document.
You're right.
Or like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
see.
These are take off your name and all identifying markers.
Okay, good
But like,
clarification.
thank you, the meat of it, and say, explain this to me, like, or simplify this for me, prepare me to go into my appointment for this. So I have not done that, but I feel like that is a useful tool because there's lots of language in legal documents or,
You're right.
Yeah.
So my peeve actually is something I do.
Oh, yes! I love when we're our own pet peeve. I mean, I went through a list of my own.
Yeah.
I said, we'll save those for another day.
Yeah. No, because I noticed myself doing this, and I think it's hysterical, and I did it today.
Oh, no.
Again. So, okay.
Was it telling me what to do with my
No,
life?
but that will come around in a minute. But I do love to tell you what to do. No, it's okay. So, like, whenever I open like a document or I'm on the computer, like something, and it's not there readily to the eye, I'm like, I don't have it. It's not like working immediately. It's not working. Like, it can never be me, user error. Like, my eyes didn't see the file that was right in front of me.
No, I agree.
It's like, it's not there. Nobody put it in there.
Yeah.
As someone
And I'm not normally like, it's not my fault type of person. Chet might disagree with that.
Chet.
But like, but I really do that. I'm like quick to the trigger, like, oh, I don't have that in my system. I don't have that email. Turns out it's at the bottom of this.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who would help with tech questions whenever we work together, I feel like I can attest to that.
Man, ain't that the truth?
Yeah. How about some self-reflection though?
That's you.
Yes.
Yeah,
this-
great for self.
And I'm trying to like, and I self-reflected to my new coworker today. I'm like, oh my God, no, I do this all the time. I know it's like,
Gosh.
Anyway.
I'm only going to refer to it as self-reflected now. I'm not going to say like I reflected on this, or I'm always going to say I self-reflected.
what, is that redundant?
It might be, but I like it. I don't know if
But
it
you have
is,
to
maybe it's not.
internally, like, because I can reflect on like,
Yeah. I don't know if I've
Something
ever
else.
heard someone
You
say
can
I
reflect on
self-reflected.
oh,
But I'm gonna use it.
My
Like,
friend and
you
I said all that when
reflected
she
yourself.
like brought it up to my, and
Oh, I
now
love
we say
it.
it all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, they need some self-reflection.
Because I guess you can.
Oh, well, yeah. Just about someone else.
Oh, me?
I've
I'm
never
going to
personally
self-reflect.
said like I've self-reflected. I usually
Oh.
was like I've reflected
oh, I think you have to.
because it
Ah.
implies
But about
self.
myself. But not really, because I could reflect on our conversation at dinner.
That's true.
Okay, let's
Right?
not.
Yeah, not on the pod anyway.
Not on the
Okay,
pod. We're
so
sure
my
not.
love, let me tell you, I think it's life changing. I'm
Okay.
not gonna be. This is not dramatic. I think it's life changing. So I am a sucker for like the ads that come up on all the socials.
No.
like let me buy a
Stop
thing.
this.
Let me buy it. Add the car. I'm gonna buy it. Also, now that I have Apple Wallet, like Apple Pay, it's just like I don't have to go down, like pitter patter out of my bed to get my credit card.
Yeah.
And pitter patter back up. Just like click on the side. So, you all know I had like this terrible neck, shoulder pain
Yes.
forever, and like jaw, all the things. So there's this pillow called Coop, and you can get it, like haul it out for side sleeper. I'm a side sleeper.
Okay.
So it's like the shape of an N, if you will.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And so like your little shoulder nestles in there. I got it. It was a little pricey, over $100. So, and it comes all like vacuum sealed, and then you let it sit out, and it expands.
Oh yeah.
But then there's like a cool side to the pillowcase. It comes with it, and then like a cottony side, so like a satin almost. So it's like real cool if you're hot, and then a cotton side. And then when I tell you that I woke up the next day, the first time sleeping on this thing, also wake back up. It comes with extra stuffing, so if you like it a little more firm, or I'm assuming it's going to get flattened out.
Yeah.
Then you can add more.
For
and
the listener, Mary made a face.
At the word firm, and then Kelly probably gave a stare.
Listen, we appreciate. That's
So
for me in my house.
when I tell you that I woke up the next day with no shoulder pain, no jaw pain, I was 16 years old.
That's a miracle.
It's a miracle for sure.
I'm not even, that's real.
For real.
How long has this been going on?
Since Sunday.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
None since Sunday.
Well, okay, a little bit now, but I think that's because I did a little yoga and the downward facing dog messed my shoulder up. But no, definitely I wake up much less pain.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's
so
very
nice.
cool.
I love that.
Oh my God, it's so good. So it's Coop, Coop, in case Coop wants to send us some stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna tag them in this somehow.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, anyway, fantastic pillow.
That sounds nice. I'm a side sleeper too sometimes, so that sounds like it would be right up my alley.
Oh,
Because I'll wake up with exactly what you said.
Yes.
But my shoulder is feels like I just
Yes.
stoved it or something.
Oh yeah, but it's like such a little nestle.
It feels so nice. I feel like sometimes I do the fetal position.
Oh yeah, I always sleep on my side. What do you sleep on your back?
My tummy.
Oh, yeah. See, I was until I got
leg
pregnant.
kind of hooked up.
Yes.
Yes. No, that's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good.
one arm under my pillow, and I'm out.
Yeah.
Like a rock. Although this week we did discuss that I'm a light sleeper, and I don't think I am. I just think people texted me too much in a row. I got woken up on Tuesday morning by a 3-ping text in a row.
Oh.
And I literally was
you get up early anyway. How early was it?
Well, I slept in, I said.
Oh, okay.
And that was my fault. They were like, I can't believe you aren't up. You typically get up at 5 for the gym. I thought this was safe. And I was like, no, I chose to sleep in today.
You can turn your notifications off.
I tried to explain this to
Or silence.
but it's too much.
Deaf ears.
Well, too much. We'll set it up.
Oh, okay,
I know how to set it up.
She just doesn't want to miss the text, Grayson.
Stop. No, I don't think I'm going to get a text from any person.
We just want to make sure you're getting
6:30
enough
in the morning.
sleep.
Yes. Get the Coop pillow, but listen, I used to be a belly sleeper until I got pregnant, and then clearly you can't be a belly sleeper.
I know.
And now I'm out of
Listen,
it. Now
if
I'm
someone wants to make that a concern for my life, I'll figure
you
out.
want to find out.
I'll figure out how to sleep another way.
Yeah.
I say that just put a baby in me. I was like, well, no, there's so many steps before that.
And I feel like it was just 2 weeks ago. You're like, I think I've decided that I want babies. And now you're like, give me the babies, all the babies.
But it's not right now.
Okay.
Maybe some steps before that.
Sure.
At least dinner first.
At least dinner.
Oh.
At least.
Maybe an engagement. I think
A quick one, maybe?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Real
Do
quick.
you not know?
Yeah.
I know in weeks. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can lock it down.
Well, I think you might find this week's topic. Again, reminder, I come with the topics. These two have no idea what the topic will be.
That's right. We have no clue what the topic will be.
Dare I say, because we talked about him earlier, not to be unsimilar to Jason Bateman's
thank
podcast.
God.
You were your stomach dropped, didn't
My
you?
stomach dropped so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not going on the pod. We are not naming anyone.
We are editing that. No.
We are editing
Just
that
like
conversation
Jason
down
Bateman's
quick.
pod, they don't know who the guest is. You all don't know what the topic is. So,
I thought when you said that you were about to bring in a surprise guest. And I got so excited.
Down the stairs.
Which will be coming eventually. We
need to have some guests.
Jason Bateman. That's what I thought.
Jason Bateman, you can come to my house anytime.
Oh,
okay.
Not with Mare. There are other people first.
Stop it with my Jason Bateman.
Cute.
He's so cute. And his humor is so...
Okay,
he's
I am a
funny.
sucker for a funny guy.
So
He's
funny.
so deadpan, dry humor.
Yeah, but I don't always love deadpan.
No, but you'll like his definition.
Yes. Yes. Okay, anyway.
Anyway, tell us what
This topic came up in real life.
When?
Between the two of us. So
No.
I'm like, yep.
I'm
yep.
always worried.
Yeah.
What's it gonna be?
And we said, and I kind of thought about it. You're like, this is a good topic for the pod. And I'm like, is it though? Is it not? So I kind of dug a little deeper into it. And I think this is we want the pod to be conversations we would typically have.
That's true. Oh,
This
God.
is a conversation we would have.
Okay.
And probably have had.
Is this an intervention for me?
No, but that's next week. We're going to have
Stop
an
that.
intervention.
No intervention.
Okay,
for
so
me.
this is not a story like last week, so I have some points. So maybe I'll get through all the points and then we can dive deeper into
we'll
all
be
of that.
quiet.
Okay. I loved how last week too. I'm like, zip it.
I know, and I did.
You did.
Other than a few guests.
For the most part. Okay. So I think we should take a deeper dive and expand upon the conversation we were talking about when we put people on a pedestal. And also, quick side note, I am a very good speller. But when I tell you I haven't spelled the word pedestal for a long time, and I've spelled it wrong a million times. But anyway, okay. So I think some points that are interesting is like, because we've all done it, right? Like, here's the thing. I feel like we have all done it.
I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
at various levels, right? So we can put people on a pedestal,
clue.
like romantic people, parents, children, friends, influencers, celebrities, like all the things, boss, like coworkers, all the things. But I think for this, we should probably focus on like the romantic / friend side of things. Because the parent-child gets a little like
you're right.
psychological, and I'm not trained for them. So I think that we could dive into like things like, why do we do this?
Okay.
When we do it, like, what does it feel and look like? What does it do to us, the person putting the other person on the pedestal? What does it do to that person on the pedestal?
Wow, yeah.
What does it do when they disappoint us? And a couple of reasons, or a couple, like, again, this is probably a little too psychological, but like, why? Did I say why yet? Why we do it?
Well, no, but I
Did I
like
say
that,
that? Okay.
that angle, like the psychological way.
And then, how do we like get them off? Like, how do we like kick that stool?
That's a great.
So there it is,
There,
folks.
wow.
There she is.
Wow. Kelly really threw a grenade into the chat. She said, Mayor?
Here we go. No, but you know, I've like we all have. Here's the thing, though. This is a
I'm
universal
down for
thing.
this.
We've all done it. Just because you're currently. Also, I have to know too when I was thinking about this topic, and I feel like maybe I definitely wrote this in my notes when I was thinking about it, but I don't know if I said it to you. Like, also there are maybe some people who should be on a pedestal or be a little like, and that's not fair because as I like nobody should be on a pedestal, but like there's some other people where, for the argument's sake, like on the pedestal that like we don't for whatever reason.
They're better than we give them credit for.
That's how you should describe it. Yes, they should be in a little bit of a high chair, and we're like,
oh, I like that, a high chair.
yeah. But you know, like that's so interesting too. Like, why are there certain people that have to like dig and grind for our like respect
Affection.
and so like a couple of other things to note is like in the theory, like in the realm of putting someone on a pedestal, like we are ultimately like in love with the idea of that person.
Yes.
Because we put them on the pedestal, we don't see the red flags.
Right.
I'm kind of jumping all around.
Well,
but
you're kind of jumping ahead, but, and it's okay if I add this, I think it's the same way we take them off, is by making them a real person.
Making them human.
Yeah.
And making them like see, okay, so what would I don't know where you want to start, I don't really care, but I just felt like those are some good points of topic. I think why we do it is kind of a little bit shorter, so we can start there. I feel like it makes sense.
And I think it depends on the person. I think some people would say they don't do this.
I mean, that has to be fair, yes.
But I'm sure a lot of people do, and I'm sure it's based on upbringing. I think it probably goes back to, genuinely, like, it probably goes back to childhood stuff. Like, did you earn affection a certain way? Did
100%.
you feel like you had to, like, perform a song and dance in a certain way to get
validated, even like so there's I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get it wrong, but there are certain parts of the brain that are triggered by that, and then like, why am I feeling like a 6-year-old like when I'm like when this happens, or like why, like, so it triggers things. It also triggers the dopamine whenever like we have someone on the pedestal and they text us or like they get back to us, and like, so it's that hit of dopamine. But yeah, there's the whole that psychological thing. There's also an angle, like we do it because we don't have high enough self-esteem, or we put our self-esteem lower than we put the value of the person on the pedestal. And like our worth is lower than like we see our worth is lower than theirs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I actually, as I'm thinking about, like, any person I've ever liked or, you know, like, been into by any means, I'm sure the higher my opinion of them goes, the lower mine of myself goes.
So you value them so highly, like, you're not allowing yourself in a way to be, like, and you in a general sense, like, your authentic self, because like your value is tied to what they do, and your worth is tied to what they do. Instead of just being like, and their reaction, like, I want to do this, and if they react a certain way, then okay, I'm happy and I'm good, and like,
Well, and I think if I'm being totally transparent, my whole life, I will, and I think this has changed a little bit in probably the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, but I think it still happens occasionally that I do this, but like, my whole life, like, I've been very able to see the potential in men. Like, romantic, like, if I'm into someone romantically, or even as friends, but like, I think, romantically, like, I'm so able to see their potential, but I have never experienced, just to be totally transparent, I've never experienced where a man looked at me and said, like, I see her and her potential.
Oh, okay.
I've only ever, it's always been the opposite. I'm so quick to be like, I see their potential. I'm thinking of them in this way. I see, like, who they could be, like, who we could be together. Like, I see all of that. And I've never had a guy be like, oh, I'm putting you on the pedestal. I've literally never, and this is crazy for the people who are hearing this, but, like, it's honest and it's
that's
authentic,
what this is.
so that's what this is. But I've never had a guy be like, you're on a pedestal for me. Like, I think of you so highly. I assume goodness about you. Yeah. I've never had that happen. So I've only ever done the opposite, putting other people on pedestals and then eventually being like, oh, fuck. Like, I have to, I take them down, or they remove themselves from it by doing something catastrophic and heart-wrenching.
And I think that's important to know too, like, there's a difference between, in a way, I think it's good that no one put you on a pedestal. Like, I think that I've been there a few times.
I'd like to be on one.
You like to know. I feel like
I'm a Leo. I wouldn't mind being on a pedestal and living up to that.
I can't think of 2 times I think I have been, and the one I think was probably just like bullshit. Like the all the words were right there. And then the other time, I think it was, like, situational, like, it feels in a way like you can't ever do anything wrong, which is opposite of what we're going to say here. So maybe I wasn't on the pedestal, but like, there's a difference between, like, really, like, cherishing and adoring and respecting and, like, having reverie, is that the right word, for someone versus a pedestal where, like, we expect them on the pedestal to act a certain way and to behave a certain manner, and that's different than, like, I cherish you, I see you for who you are. I value you for who you are, not like who I'm projecting you and who I want you to be.
And I don't know if I know the difference, because I don't know if I've experienced either of those things.
Gotcha.
Like, in a romantic situation. In friendships, I think I've been probably put on a pedestal, and, like, people have assumptions for, like, how I should behave or my availability or, like, what I'm going to show. But when it comes to my dynamic with men, I like, whether it's that I'm on a pedestal incorrectly or whether it's I see you, I cherish you. I've literally never experienced that. So I think I come into it almost with a lens of, like, and when this was so fun, honestly, about the two of us talking, is like we come with different life experiences. And we've talked about that 1,000 times. I'm like, what? You want that thing, so you're going to ask for it? I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask for it. I'm not going to admit that I want that out loud.
Keeping that shit
shoved right down.
Shoved way down.
I'm never going to say that out loud ever. But, like, I think you're so right, because the solution, well, and we don't need to get to solutions yet, but
Right.
the solution I think to it is actually like genuinely cherishing someone.
And allowing each of you to be who you truly are.
Yeah.
And knowing like no person is going to act or behave exactly how you want them to.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that I've experienced, I guess I can speak to the fact of like this low self-esteem part, which is interesting. Like, I will say that once you, like, if for me anyway, once I hit my 40s, I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Not to be mean to people, but just like, I'm not going to care so much about what everyone else thinks. But I think up until that, for the most part, I cared a whole lot about what people thought. And like, I felt like I would put my friends on a pedestal more than men, I would say.
Yeah.
And then be very disappointed when they didn't behave away or like, you know what I mean? Like show up the way I would have shown up for them or like on the flip side, like pedestal, I couldn't recognize maybe this isn't a pedestal. Sometimes like the low self-esteem, like, oh, I can't believe like I value like their worth is up here and I'm down here. Like, I can't believe that they're friends with me or they want to hang out with me or
Oh my
like
God.
all of that.
The amount of times where like, I'll be like, I can't believe you're even talking to me.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
I definitely do that with men. Like, I'll definitely be like, why are you even speaking to me?
Yeah.
Like, which is crazy because I wouldn't say I have, I probably have lower self-esteem and it's situational.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain scenarios where I feel like very capable and confident but, you know, like, interactions with men.
Yeah.
It like plummets. But, like, so it's almost like it probably evens out, I guess, maybe somewhere in the middle. But, like, I think, like, in that situation, I often find myself, like, in my worst moments, being, like, doing things, saying things. And I've caught myself, actually, like, even recently, being like, oh, I was asking for something there. And we've talked about this, like, the testing thing, like, you know,
testing.
you'll send a thing, and it's like, are you going to respond
Yes.
the way I want, the way I desire for you to? Are you going to respond authentically?
Right, and then we get pissed at them.
Yeah.
We get pissed at them if they don't behave the way that we want them to.
Right.
But it's no fault of their own.
No. And it's like, also, it's like, what? Like, you didn't tell them that's what you needed. Or, like, they didn't know the deck was stacked.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, what did you think that person was going to say back to that?
Right.
Did you think they were going to, like, be like, Mayor, XYZ, like, blah, 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 like, and here's why you're a perfect person. Like, because that's really what, sometimes it's like, that's what I'm after.
Yes.
I'm after your validation of me.
Instead of validating ourselves.
Myself.
Yes.
And being like, no, this is what I bring to the table.
Yeah, and I think, too, part of that, it becomes a little easier, and again, I'm a smidge older than you, but, like,
Barely,
if you get and I've, had some therapy, so, like, you get very clear. I've dabbled a few therapists.
None of the fix me, but
if you get very clear on, like, what you want and what you're willing to put up with and not put up with, it gets a little easier as long as you feel confident enough to, like, hold to that.
Sure.
And I mean you generally, not you specifically, Mary.
No, yeah,
but,
I
like,
appreciate that.
yeah. I
So
think
I do think
it's...
I'm definitely getting better at naming what I want.
Well, that's a step.
I actually almost just said this earlier. I was like posting something on Instagram. Even the three of us in our interactions, if you had met me 3.5 years ago, I was incapable of expressing needs.
Yeah.
Like, if I needed, like, a response or attention even, or, like, whatever, it was, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I would just, like, it was almost as though, like, I was one of those, those, like, flyers where you're, like, somewhere, it's like, take what you need. And then there's, has those whole things
so you pull off.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, that's how I lived. Like, and that's, like, in friendships and with men, like, whatever it was very much like a, take what you need and take for how long you need it, and then...
You mean take from you?
From me.
You were like the flyer, and all your friends are like, take what you need, and you were giving it all to them.
Friends, men, like, family even, like, just, like, take what you need, take what you want, and, like, keep it as long as you want, or don't. Like, that's how I operated. And so, sometimes even now, someone will be like, oh, like, that was, like, I can tell they're like, oh, that was needy, or, like, that was dramatic, or whatever. And it's like, you don't know. Pre-knowing you, I operated in a mindset of just, like, be everything to everyone, but only on their terms.
Yes, only on their terms, and like
Only.
morph into like what you need, then I'm going to be that for you. But if you, Grayson, needed something different, I'm going to be that for her, instead of being authentic, which I think circles back nicely to the pedestal, because like we're not allowed, like I think it goes both ways. Like neither person is truly authentic
until they are.
And
until
then
you meet someone where you're like, no, I'm just going to be.
I'm going to be weird.
Literally myself. Like, you're going to get all of it, and it's either going to terrify the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how I am with the two of you. Like, you see, you see all of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that makes me emotional. Like, actually, think about, like, oh, this is how transparent I am. Or, like, with these people.
Or how easy we can have conversations that maybe would have been difficult for, at least I know it would have been difficult for me in the past. Because, I say to you, like, I'm sorry, Meredith, this isn't what I mean. This isn't how I, like, but this offended me. You know what I mean? Like, that's our
and I'm like, good,
past
tell me.
baggage. Right, but this is our past baggage. Or, like, this hurt my feelings. Or this is, like, I just wanted to bring this up to you. Can we do this? Like,
Or like that. I mean, but I'm gonna get us off track, but I totally resonate.
Yeah. Do you want to? So I feel like we were maybe talking about why we do it, but let's talk about what it does to the other person.
Oh,
like how? Like because typically we don't think about that perspective, right? Because we think the person's on the pedestal, they're the asshole. Like no, and they didn't ask to be up there.
No,
for starters.
And it's so unfair.
It's so unfair, and they're doing things that they don't know that they're even doing because they're just being themselves.
Yeah, we're projecting, or whatever version is. They're being the best they can.
They're being the best they can, which is themselves. Like you know what I mean? They're not trying to intentionally like sit up there on the high horse and like ruin our lives, but like, but it's so unfair. And then
Well, it's so unfair because then too, like, it's the pressure of like.
Yes.
Especially once, like, and maybe you even experienced this, like, those times where you were on it, like, when you become aware of being on it, there's so much pressure because it's like, well, how far do I have to fall?
Yes.
Like, and also it's like every time.
You expect me to be perfect.
Respond perfectly, like, operate perfectly, like, care for you perfectly. Like, no one can do that.
No one.
That's an insane amount of pressure. And it's like, and also they didn't ask. They weren't like, hey, could you really view me this highly?
Yeah, right. Could you just think that I'm so much better than you that you sit around and wait for me to make any sort of move?
Yeah.
Any sort of anything.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a dehumanizing factor because they can't be perfect. They can't be themselves, which we're all imperfect.
Yeah, they don't get the option to be a little broken.
Right, exactly. And then when they're also, I guess I'm thinking right now, like, they're oblivious to the fact that they're up there on the pedestal, and then they do something to us that, like, we then take the blinders off, and all of a sudden they, like, crash and burn, and they don't understand. They almost have to feel like whiplash, like, I don't understand what happened here. I thought we had this. It's almost like it's two different relationships happening.
Oh, yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. It's very interesting, and it also doesn't allow us the freedom. We've talked about this, but like to explicitly have the freedom to be who we are either. Like we're censoring who we are. We're like putting ourselves in this little narrow box to kind of fit the person on the pedestal, and like what a disservice to ourselves.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times it's like you have to have a certain. Like, even the conversation we're having right now, like, I would never have that kind of conversation with someone who I was worried about or who I put on a pedestal.
Right, yes, because you're worried about the answer. Hold about this. You're worried about they're going to give you the answer that is going to disappoint you or ultimately you know what the actual truth is, but you don't want to hear the words coming out of their mouth.
Yeah. Well...
Did that make sense? Because I feel like I've lived that. Like, I'm not going to ask the questions. I'm not going to behave in a certain way because I know I'm not ready to hear the answer that's coming.
Right.
Right, because we don't think it's reciprocated.
Right, it's not reciprocated, but I don't think you don't think it will be valued, too.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not going to be reciprocated.
Yes.
Like,
right.
Because I think honestly, vulnerability is part of the solution because you get to see them as a real person.
Right.
You learn them, like, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, that you can come down from there.
Yes.
I know I push you up there, but like you can come down.
Maybe they could walk down instead of, maybe there's a ladder up to the pedestal and they can walk down instead of like it gets caught on fire.
Right. And I think, honestly, like I think that's one of the lessons I've been learning. How do I help, like how do I take your hand and walk you down the ladder you didn't put yourself on?
Right.
Like how do I walk you down that ladder from the pedestal? Because,
right.
Like, because I think the answer is vulnerability. And if there is someone in your life who you can't be vulnerable with and you've put them on a pedestal, and particularly, that is that is a wild decision to put someone on a pedestal, especially when they can't be vulnerable with you. Like, because you're just ignoring the reality that, like,
so surface level.
Yes.
It's so surface level.
So
with
you
the
don't
people
even know
on
enough to know if they deserve praise or not.
No. And so that just like kind of reminds me of another reason like why we do it is that like we somehow see some sort of trait or value in that person that we think is rare and like out of reach for us.
Oh, damn, yeah.
But they like put, like they give us the carrot or like the little hit of dopamine and then we think, there you go. I don't deserve that, but look at how amazing this person is. Such a rare find.
Yeah.
Maybe this, I don't know where this fits into the conversation, but sometimes these are how our conversations go, audience.
Yeah, it's already
I'm like,
they're like, we did not expect therapy tonight.
No. Do you want to add anything else?
A little hopeful though.
Okay.
Because I have experienced amazing situations where I place someone on a pedestal and because of who they are as an individual, because typically you place someone on a pedestal because you see good things in them, right? You don't place a terrible person on a pedestal. They're like, they have good qualities. That's how they get up there.
I'm going to say they have good qualities. They may or may not be a good person.
Sure. But I think I've experienced where like, it's a good person.
Sure.
I put them on a pedestal. I realize, oh gosh, I put them on the pedestal. And they have made themselves a real person to me. Like, I'm not saying that's always the case. Or even like my life right now. But like, I'm saying I have experienced, I'm hopeful that when this phenomenon happens, because it's real, it happens all the time to people, where they put someone on a pedestal, that like, by making them a real person, you really can walk them off that pedestal.
And I think a key component to that is like also making them an equal. Like, don't compare yourself. Don't be like, oh my God, I can't believe that person wants to talk with me or spend like, put them on equal ground. Like another way to walk them down too is like, I think that kind of spend time with them like through an objective lens if you can. Like be deliberate and like, okay, I'm going to objectively look at this.
Evaluate this.
Yeah. Because sometimes I might argue that there could, if done the right way, you could be like pleasantly surprised. Like maybe if you objectively like, okay, we're on equal playing ground. You also might then become more attractive to that person. Because can you imagine how unattractive we must be when we're to the person on the pedestal?
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, here's my text. Okay,
like,
that was me like responding
to
a text with my thumbs.
Like, it's like, oh, you want me to walk over hot coals for you?
Sure,
How long do you want me to stand on these effing coals? Because that's what I'll do.
That's what I'll do for you.
Like, what did I say the other day? I was like, I feel like sometimes I'm like a dancing monkey.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll dance for you.
My freaking cymbals.
Yes.
Together.
How long?
I'm like,
what
how long?
song?
Do you want me to pay attention? What do you want to say? What do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yes.
And also, if that's what's attracted to you about me, stop. Like, because I'm a sounding board?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
I know. Look at us giving people some ways to bring people down off the pedestal.
Yeah.
We're not licensed people. This is not, please find your own therapist.
Your own medical provider.
You need your own person, but like, and I think too, like you alluded to kind of like summarize how to take them down is notice that they're human too, like, and maybe you're gonna embrace their flaws because we're all freaking human. Or just
and I'm not saying you're not gonna think those flaws are beautiful.
No, be like, oh God, that sucks, but I'm gonna like, I still like the rest of that person.
Oh my gosh. Or like it makes them more gritty. What are we doing with these like perfect people?
No, and they're not perfect. We just think they are. We're just like blinders.
Perfection's over.
No flags, yes. So I think any fine. I know that was a topic. That was a little.
I think there should be a warning before this starts. It's like, if you don't want to learn some things about your friends,
you're gonna learn it there.
Do not listen.
But these, I mean,
That's how
I
it
just
should
feel like
start.
truly, like, we wanted this pod to be because we would literally have had this conversation in your office or my office.
Yeah. No, this
Those
is
are the
real.
yeah, sometimes it's fun and light, and not that this is just like a real conversation about a topic that we were talking about in real life.
Yeah.
So I think anything else to add? Are we good to go to extra in the real world?
I'm very excited to hear about your extra in the real world.
Yes, so this week I have the extra in the real world, and it's going to be a shout out to my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Who, he has done service to community locally, but also across the country for a long time. Like, he went with my nieces to, I'm not going to get the organizations right, but typically it was like through their church, their Lutheran.
Yeah.
And like, they would go to different work camps. That's what they called them. And I think they were on a reservation. At one point, I think they were going to go to Haiti or did go to Haiti anyway. But so recently he went for a week, I believe. Yeah, a week to, okay, where was all the damage? North Carolina? South Carolina?
Yeah, like the Asheville area?
Yeah, thank you. Which one is that?
North Carolina.
North, okay. Yeah, went there with a high school friend in his church and like just like was trying to do what he could to rebuild the community.
Whoa.
He said it's like, now this is third-hand information because I haven't talked to him yet, but like it's still bad. Like there are still like cars wrapped around like trees and telephone poles, and but like spent a week of his time just going like away from his family and his wife and like just service to this community. Knew no one there. Like how about that?
Wow, that is
Look at
very
Christians doing nice things.
That's very good.
Yeah, look at Christians doing nice things.
Shocking, I know.
Shocking.
For the record, I said that sarcastically because I think Christians do nice things.
That's a different pod.
That's a different pod.
Her brother-in-law's name is
Christian, yeah, no, it is not.
No,
Yeah,
that's very
but,
cool.
yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I mean, whether it's obviously North Carolina or it's someone's community.
And to be fair, too, I don't want to misrepresent. Like, he did go with, I'm 99% sure, like, a high school friend, but he didn't know anyone in the Asheville area, is what I meant by he didn't know anybody.
That's
but,
amazing.
like, he just knew, boots on the ground, what can I fix, how can I clean up, like, whatever.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Snaps to the brother-in-law.
I know.
That's
I
good
know,
one,
it's very
Kelly.
good. Well, thanks for going down that topic with us.
Yeah.
Again, it was real. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully
Did we all?
you related a little. Hopefully maybe you laughed at some point.
Barely.
At the beginning? I don't know. At the pillow? I don't
Just like
know.
Mary's gonna go schedule a therapy appointment immediately. No, I'm just kidding. She's good.
This is just what happens.
She's talked out.
Stay tuned for next week. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
In the
okay.
meantime,
Yeah, go
be extra.